year, and I want to give you a little bit of the journey for the last year, and also kind of the journey that I've been on over the last year. You know, we're doing a lot of pretty big work, right? So to have come from originally 6 kids that we supported at the beginning to now impacting 250,000 people per year over the last year. You aged me there, Jeff. Not. Over the last 20 years is pretty impressive, and I'm just so honored and blessed to be working with an incredible team in Tanzania, and also an incredible global family that believes in the work that we're doing. So I wanted to predicate kind of my message for today about that, because I think my message today is going to be a little bit more intimate. You know, when you're doing this kind of work, there's bricks and mortar work where you really see the accomplishment, or you see the success, right? So we've built a lot of schools, we've built hospitals, we've dug wells, and it's very concrete. You can see it and you're like, this is successful and this is fantastic. And you know, that tangibility of success is sometimes a great way that you can, you know, check that box. But the Olive Branch's biggest investment hasn't been in the hardware. It hasn't been in our mobile libraries or whatever it is. It has been in people. Investing and believing in people, in the young people that have connected to our organization. All of the young people connecting to our educational programs, but most importantly, the 80 kids that we're seeing through their academic lives. Right now, this organization has 24 kids that we're sponsoring at various colleges and universities throughout Tanzania, which is incredible. But it's not a visible success sometimes, right? Because it's a person. People stumble. They face challenges. And it's not today, tomorrow. That intangibility, that risk. And that's where this has been a journey of faith. A daily leaping into the darkness. Whenever we are financing someone's education, investing in someone, it's a leap into the darkness. We don't know what waits at the other end, except that we have faith. We have faith. So over the last couple of years, one of our first kids that connected to us in 2007 and is now 25 years old, and she is a graduate with a bachelor's in science with education. Her name is Mlongwa, and this is probably a name that you've heard in the past. But the reason why I really am focusing on this story is because, first of all, it's an example of how faith and leaping into the darkness can have a bigger, more exponential impact than we could ever imagine. And then on a second note, I'll say after. So she got her degree in science with education, and we asked her to take on the role as the head of the Montessori Academy. So the Olive Branch has 20 outreach Montessori schools in remote communities, and we have a flagship Montessori school in Mbeya that serves the kids from the Zion of Peace Home and is now also an income-generating activity for the organization to support some of our academic programming. And she took on as head of the school. She was 23 at the time when she graduated. She was young. Some of the teachers, so 15 teachers work for her at that school, have been teaching for many years. You know, who's this upstart coming, this 23-year-old? Why has the Olive Branch believed in her? We believed in her because we've invested in her since she was 7 years old. We know what she's made. We know what she's made of. We know the challenges that she's overcome. We also know that she's able to navigate an international educational setting, an international community, and the culture of Tanzania. So what has this girl done in the last 2 years as the head of the school? She transformed the teachers. She transformed the school. Tanzania is a rote learning society. Write it on the board, you don't get it right, Wrong, wrong, wrong? Now, we took corporal punishment. We refused, but Tanzanian schools have corporal punishment, by the way. Not the Montessori Academy, but all other schools. So even for the teachers to kind of switch that light and say, how do I create success and achievement or work with a student without using fear? It's very challenging for them. It's very challenging for them. And so Longwa has worked diligently, tirelessly with these teachers to change how they see creating the relationships with the students. She's brought in arts and crafts. She said, take your kids out of the classroom and use the world as your classroom. She's an olive branch kid. She's an olive branch kid. Love your students. Lead with love, lead with kindness. Give them a hug when they need it. Ask them what their needs are. Involve your kids in their educational journey. Fun is allowed at school. Learning should be fun. That is what that young woman, who's an olive branch kid, has done for 15 teachers who never knew how high they could rise and they could change. So this one girl that we've invested in, that we leapt into the dark with, a leap of faith. A leap of faith. She's only 25 years old, and she's transformed these teachers. Now let's think about how that has a further effect. We don't know how many students these teachers from now until the end of their career will connect with. 10, 20, 30 per year. Maybe for the next 20, 30, 40 years in some cases of teaching. How many people will this one girl, this one young woman have impacted? Because we leapt into the darkness with her. And then how many lives will be transformed by those kids that are connecting to these teachers, that are transforming how they see education? We can't even count them. What leaders will be developed in those classrooms? Because of the blind leap into the darkness, but held by faith that Mlongwa was worthy of the investment. And she's proven it over and over again. So the second part is, we've seen this tremendous woman rise. And as a result, I know this is my next leap. Because as Jeff said, we've been on this journey for quite some time together. And although I would like to live for 200-300 years, it's not going to happen. And although I would like to be able to do the level of work that I do now at 60 or 70 or 80, I also know that that's not possible. So my current journey is this leap into the darkness, this fear of what will come next for the olive branch. My commitment to making sure that over the next 15 to 20 years, I don't step away from an organization that I let, slip through my fingers. For me, the journey away from the ego is always hard for all of us, right? And a lot of people, when they start something, there's that ego that inserts in and says, you know what, when I leave, it just won't work, right? And a lot of people like that, right? It's like that idea of, oh, they can't make it without me. My goal is obviously that I want the olive branch to survive, thrive, and continue from success to success without me. The goal is not that it will flounder when I'm not leading it. The goal is that it will soar because it will be in the hands of incredible Tanzanians that we've invested in. And I'll be I know she's the future leader of this organization. And over the next couple of years, I will start coming to Canada with her so that my global community can start meeting someone who I see as the next great leader of the olive branch, and, you know, maybe even greater things. But all of this being said, the olive branch has been a journey of bricks and mortar, of tangible successes. And it's been a journey of faith, of intangibles, of variables, of uncertainties, of leaps into the darkness, holding only on to faith, and knowing that we're doing the right thing. And people, all of us, are kind of these intangibles, the unpredictables, the variables. But we need to be filled with faith and belief, and people trusting in our ability to succeed, and filling us with love and kindness, all the good things, so that we can rise to that. So my last statement of the day is, all of you have leapt with me. When I came all those years ago, I had no track record. I had not proven myself. I was an upstart of a volunteer in Tanzania, and I had a hope and a dream, passion, and the other day I was interviewed and someone said, well, what was your plan B? And I said, I didn't have one. They're like, why? I said, I was like, you don't know my father, but you don't quit. For any of you who know Mr. McCracken, you know, you find a way to get to the finish line. Whether you've left your shoes behind and everything else, you find a way to cross that finish line. So I didn't have a plan B. But my plan A, you guys believed in it. You leapt into the darkness with me. You held me when I wasn't sure if success was on the other end. You leapt into the darkness with faith and belief in a young woman, the same as I'm doing right now. And I want to thank you. I really want to thank you, because without that blind faith, I wouldn't be here today. And 250,000 people being benefited by the programming of the Olive Branch wouldn't have the programs that the Olive Branch provide. It was that faith. It was that belief. And it was leaping into the darkness with me. So, nakupenda, in Kiswahili, I love you. Nakujali, I care about you. And you are a meaningful and important part of this faith journey, of this mission, of this work. Thank you for believing in me. And thank you for believing in me, and consequently and subsequently, I think, a very bright future for this organization. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say today.
It excited us greatly to be a part of it. You always said we were walking with you, and that was really important to us. I have to tell you, as a pastor, two things. First of all, the first thing is we also, as pastors, work with people. We don't have buildings to show afterwards, well, some of us do. But, I mean, really, mostly it's all just working with people. So it is a leap of faith. And the second thing is we have this beautiful plaque outside the door there with all the pastors that have come in the past. Pastors come and they go. The church remains. And so if I can do anything, God makes sure that, you know, when we leave, and I pray you're not leaving soon. No, good. But when we leave, he does replace us with someone who is his choice for